Listen closely as we show you the best games to play to test out your brand new headset. Trying on a headset for the first time is like trying on a pair of glasses with your new prescription. Everything is suddenly crystal clear in a way that you hadn't even thought possible before. From giving you the edge over competitors in multiplayer, to helping you block out the real world and completely lose yourself in an open world adventure. A good headset is quite literally a game changer. Prescription glasses rarely offer fully customizable RGB lighting, so actually headsets are definitely a better thing. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe to the Logitech G channel and ring the notification bell so you never miss another video. Sound good to you?
Surprised you made it this far.
In Outer Wilds, you play as an explorer, visiting planets within a solar system that is stuck in a 22-minute time loop, where the sun goes supernova and you find yourself back where you started. Speaking of loops, it also has a score that will quickly become the soundtrack you turn to first while you work, cook, go for walks, and you get the idea. You might be able to take off and explore the mysteries of Outer Wilds in an afternoon, but the things you see and hear in that game are sure to stick with you. We recommend carving out an afternoon, getting cozy, brewing your favorite hot drink, and popping on your Logitech G headset ready to traverse the galaxy in Outer Wilds. You get to solve mysteries, investigate strange planets, and listen to the game's theme played on different instruments across the solar system. It is a wonderful little game with a wonderful little soundtrack, fitting for a marshmallow roast or two. Once you drop into Verdansk for your first game of Call of Duty Warzone, you won't be able to go back. Aside from giving you the edge against any opponents, as you can not only tell when they're approaching, but from where and possibly also what size boots they wear.
Enemy soldier incoming!
A great headset also helps you to lose yourself in the game even further. You'll find yourself asking your teammates, have you always been able to hear enemy footsteps from that far away? Or do we have to listen to Barang every time we get in a vehicle? Of course, a crystal clear mic will also help you to communicate with your teammates better and help lead them to victory. As bullets fly past, parachutes deploy overhead, and loadout drops land beside you with a heavy thud, Warzone really is a great way to christen a new headset.
Stand by for deployment to the war zone.
Forget taking your new headset for a test run. Why not take it on a test sprint through the fiery depths of hell as you slash your way through demons in an attempt to stop the destruction of humanity? Sounds good? Well, have we got the game for you? Doom is a franchise known for its intense, head-banging soundtracks, making it the perfect game to jump into and turn all the way up to 11. The sound design of Doom Eternal is heavy, pulsing, futuristic, and all-consuming. It's almost soothing in a twisted sort of way. The gentle wub-wub, to use the technical term, of the soundtrack, the roar of the chainsaw as it slices through enemies like they're made of butter, the thunk of a shotgun as it blows a demon's head to smithereens. Without getting too onomatopoeic about it, Doom Eternal truly is a next-level experience that demands a great headset.
The cleansing of Earth is a necessary step to a brighter tomorrow.
There's something about the sound design of Red Dead Redemption 2 that is so good, you almost forget it's there. It feels so natural, even the slow fade in of Woody Jackson's score as you ride across the map, that with a good headset on, you'll find yourself being quietly consumed by it. Outside of the action-packed main campaign, the simple ambient sounds of the wilderness mean that traveling from place to place on horseback, taking in all the sights and sounds, is so much more satisfying than fast travel. The near meditative quality of Red Dead Redemption 2's less busy moments mean that the sudden crack of a gunshot often rips through the quiet. And the soundtrack. Red Dead Redemption 2 equals the goosebump-inducing moments like that use of Jose Gonzalez's Far Away in its predecessor.
So off I go to greener pastures.
Step in front of a runaway train.
If you want to lose yourself in a western with a soundtrack that will have you searching Spotify long after the credits roll, then Red Dead Redemption 2 is for you.
Gentlemen, always a pleasure.
If Found is a truly exceptional visual novel that has players ease their way through the diary of a young girl called Cassio. It's a moving story of identity, friendship, and family that takes place partly in Achill Island and partly in outer space. If Found has an enthralling soundscape that draws you in a way that few games can. You hear the scribbling of a pencil on paper, the quiet friction of the eraser that marks up your cursor, and find yourself lingering on a part of Cassio's story just to listen, perhaps to the meditative sound of rainfall or the thumping bass of a band. It's so utterly enthralling that if you manage to tear yourself away without playing the entire game in one sitting, firstly, you're stronger than we are, and secondly, taking your headset off almost feels like snapping out of a daze. We recommend Horizon Zero Dawn for the maiden voyage of your new headset for the sound of machines alone. The menacing thud of a charger or the eruption of static as you catch a watcher with your tripcaster. Everything feels so fully realised that you'd be forgiven for forgetting that these metal beasts don't exist. Relieved too, I bet. The care that has been taken in everything from the soundtrack to the sound effects in the menu of Horizon is truly astounding. The way the game mixes futuristic landscapes with the tranquil ambience of nature and wildlife is a unique experience. And wandering through the wide open landscape of Meridian, hearing a nearby stream, the grunt of a pig, the crunch of ground beneath Aloy's feet, only to be quickly snapped out of your daze by the heavy thud of a machine on patrol is an experience that demands the best headset possible. Do it for Aloy.
Down you go.
If there's a genre of games that know how to use audio to its full potential, it's horror. We're not talking about using a stick of celery to show a bone breaking either. We're talking about how games like those of the Resident Evil series use sound to leave you with a constant feeling of dread. In the 2019 remake of Resident Evil 2, you'll find yourself tiptoeing down the familiar zombie-infested halls of Raccoon City Police Department.
You can't be serious.
Never far from the guttural sounds of the undead, and never quite sure when one is going to burst through a window or come ambling round the corner from what feels like the longest corridor in the world. If you want to be truly terrified, all you need is a resi game, a dark room, and a good set of cans. Good luck.
I'm just impressed you made it in one piece.
Upon starting Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, you'll be asked to wear a headset to make the most of the 3D binaural sound. And regardless of whether or not that's a term you've heard before, little can prepare you for the aural experience of Hellblade. As you journey to Helheim as Senua in an attempt to save the soul of her dead lover, you must battle monsters both physical and internal. And the voice in Senua's head will feel so real, you'll have to take off your headset to check that it's only in-game. Developers Ninja Theory use the 3D sound to depict Senua's mental state, with whispers that travel around us in 360 degrees, constantly telling her to turn back and give up.
Where is it? It's all your fault.
Aside from the ASMR nightmare of the voices in Senua's head, Hellblade's sound effects, environmental sounds, and voice acting are so well done, you'll find yourself playing in awe throughout most of the 8-hour campaign. And a little fear.
Those who make it back are forever changed.
Say what you like about war, but the one thing even the staunchest pacifist would struggle to disagree with is that it sounds impressive. The Battlefield series has historically, no pun intended, featured impeccable sound design, and BF5 is no exception. At its most chaotic, you'll face so many land, sea, and airborne threats to your well-being that visuals alone can struggle to convey them. Your ears, though, have no such limits. So dense and layered is a destructive cacophony, we're hard-pressed to single anything out as the most intimidating, though being greeted by a machine gun, cannon fire, and air attack during a beach landing ranks highly, as do the V2 rockets. By contrast, in those rare lulls where all you hear are the beautiful sounds of nature, you find yourself reflecting on the utter futility of human conflict.
I need help!
If getting to hear the iconic pzoom of a lightsaber or the whir of a TIE fighter isn't enough to convince you that a Star Wars game is the perfect way to take your new headset for a spin, how about this? With Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order on your screen and a Logitech headset on, there's nothing to stop you living your Jedi fantasy as you master the combat and explore the galaxy to the sweet orchestral soundtrack.
I've really stepped it up.
In Fallen Order, you play as Cal Kestis, a Padawan in hiding. Once his identity is revealed and a target placed on his back, however, you will work to master the combat and become a fully fledged Jedi. There are plenty of great Star Wars games that we could recommend to test out your headset, but in Fallen Order, the audio is rich and epic and has BD1 bleeping on your shoulder as you travel to the furthest corners of the galaxy. Just look how cute he is. And that concludes our list of games to test out your brand new headset. Let us know your favorite sounding games in the comments, make sure to subscribe to Logitech G and hit the notification bell to stay up to date with our latest videos, and we'll see you in the next one.
Just passing through, guys. No need to come out and say hi this time.